Can you believe one of Betty White's secrets to living to 99 was not eating green vegetables? Sounds crazy, right? But there's a fascinating reason behind it. I'm Dr. Grace Mitchell. For over 35 years, I've been helping older adults stay healthy and joyful through personalized care and lifestyle coaching. Thousands have found new energy and purpose through the tips I share. Betty once joked that she avoided anything green. While that goes against most nutrition advice, it actually reveals something deeper, her approach to enjoying life without guilt, with balance and a big dose of humor. In this video, you'll discover the 4 foods Betty White chose to avoid, and more importantly, how her joyful mindset helped her live a long, happy life. This isn't just about diet, it's about a lifestyle you can embrace, starting today. If you're curious how to age with grace, laughter, and health, just like Betty, hit subscribe and stay with me. Let's unlock these simple but powerful secrets together. 1. Avoid anything green. Let me ask you something. Have you ever forced yourself to eat something you just didn't like, just because someone said it was good for you? Maybe kale, or broccoli, or some bitter green you never enjoyed. You're not alone. So many older adults I talk to feel this quiet pressure to follow every health rule out there: low salt, low sugar, no carbs, more greens, and honestly, it can become exhausting. It takes the joy out of eating. Now, imagine hearing that Betty White, yes, the Betty White, full of life, humor, and wisdom, once said, "I try to avoid anything green." That's right. At 90-something years old, she openly admitted she didn't like green vegetables and didn't eat them. When I first read that, I smiled. Not because I'm against vegetables, they're good for us, of course, but because Betty gave herself permission to enjoy food without guilt. She didn't feel bad about not liking something. She didn't force herself to eat a salad she didn't want. Instead, she found her own rhythm, her own joy, and stuck to it. And guess what? She lived to 99. Now, I'm not saying the secret to long life is avoiding greens. What I am saying is that how we approach eating matters just as much as what we eat. Betty's attitude shows us that joy, laughter, and satisfaction around the dinner table are powerful ingredients in a long and happy life. There's something very freeing about that idea. Many older adults today grew up in a time when cleaning your plate was a rule, when food was rationed, when preferences didn't always matter. So now, even when they're 70 or 80, they're still eating things they don't like, out of habit or guilt. But what if we shifted the mindset? What if we said, you know what, I've earned the right to eat food I enjoy? That doesn't mean giving up on health. It means choosing balance. Maybe you don't like spinach, but you love carrots or sweet potatoes. Great. Maybe kale isn't your thing, but you enjoy a nice bowl of vegetable soup now and then. That counts too. The point is, eating should bring pleasure, not pressure. One of my patients, Mary, is 84 and full of stories. She once told me, "Dr. Grace, I've choked down so much broccoli in my life I think I deserve a medal." We both laughed. Then I asked her, "Do you even like broccoli?" She paused and said, "Not really. I just thought I had to." That conversation changed something for her. Now, she eats more of what she loves, like baked sweet potatoes, grilled salmon, and the occasional slice of peach pie. And she's happier for it. This is what I see in Betty White's choice to avoid green food. It's not just about vegetables, it's about trusting your body, your joy, your preferences. It's about removing guilt from the plate and replacing it with mindfulness, balance, and pleasure. She gave herself permission to be fully human, even at the dinner table. And that's the message I want to share with you today. Don't let health rules steal your joy. Instead, build habits that nourish both your body and your spirit. If there's a food you truly dislike, it's okay to say no. Find other ways to get what you need, ways that feel good to you. So now I'd love to hear from you. Is there a food you've been forcing yourself to eat just because you thought you should? Maybe it's a green veggie or some health drink that makes you cringe. Whatever it is, share it with me in the comments. You might just find someone else who feels the same way. Because remember, aging well isn't about perfection. It's about joy, balance, and listening to yourself. Just like Betty did. Let's keep the conversation going. 2. Prioritize your favorite foods. Let's be honest, how many times have you stopped yourself from eating something you truly love because you thought, it's bad for me? Maybe it was a hot dog at a summer picnic, a small bowl of fries, or a scoop of ice cream you've been craving for days. For many older adults, this kind of thinking becomes a habit. We slowly begin to cut out the foods we enjoy, one by one, until eating feels more like a job than a joy. But Betty White didn't live that way. Even in the 90s, she openly said she still enjoyed hot dogs, French fries, and the occasional vodka. She once said, "I don't eat anything special. Fries. Hot dogs if I can get them. And I'm not much of a breakfast eater." There was no shame in her voice, just honesty and joy. And the truth is, she didn't live to 99 by obsessing over every bite. She lived that long because she understood the power of happiness. And for her, that included food. See, food is more than fuel. It's memory. It's comfort. It's family. A hot dog might remind you of a baseball game with your grandkids. Fries might take you back to road trips with your spouse. Even a small treat can spark a smile, and that joy, believe it or not, is good for your health. I remember a gentleman I once worked with, his name was Harold, and he was 88. Every Friday, he would go to the same diner and order a cheeseburger with extra pickles. His daughter, who was very health conscious, would get upset and say, "Dad, you shouldn't eat that at your age." Harold would just grin and say, "Sweetheart, I've made it this far. Let me enjoy my Fridays." And he was right. Now, I'm not saying we should eat hot dogs and fries every day. Betty didn't either. But what she did teach us is that we don't have to give up our favorite foods completely. When enjoyed in moderation, they can be part of a balanced, joyful life. The key is to listen to your body and your heart. If a food makes you happy and doesn't harm your health when eaten occasionally, then it belongs in your life. That little spark of joy you feel when you bite into something you love? That's not something to fear. That's something to cherish. In my 35 years of caring for older adults, one thing I've learned is this: the people who live the longest and the happiest aren't necessarily the ones who follow the most rules. They're the ones who smile more, laugh often, stay connected, and allow themselves small pleasures without guilt. Food is one of those pleasures. So, if there's a favorite food you've been avoiding out of guilt, I want you to pause and ask yourself, why? Is it really hurting your health, or is it just something someone once told you to avoid? If it's something that brings you joy, maybe it deserves a small place back at your table. You've earned it. And now I want to hear from you. What's your favorite food, the one that always makes you smile, no matter how old you are? Is it a slice of homemade pie? A warm bowl of mac and cheese? Or maybe something unexpected, like a dill pickle or a chili dog? Share it with me in the comments. Let's celebrate the foods that make life sweeter, one bite at a time. Because living well isn't just about cutting out, it's about letting in the things that matter most. Let's make room for joy on our plates and in our hearts. 3. Stay optimistic. Life doesn't always go the way we hope. We lose people we love. Our bodies change. Some days feel harder than others. And as we get older, it can be easy to focus on what's missing, what hurts, or what's not the same anymore. But Betty White had a different way of looking at things. She once said, "I always find the positive." And you could feel it in her smile, her voice, the way she carried herself. Betty wasn't pretending that life was perfect. She simply chose to look for the good, no matter what. That kind of mindset doesn't just make life easier, it can actually help you live longer. Over the years, I've seen this over and over. I remember a woman named Clara, one of my dearest patients, who used to come to our community center every Wednesday, no matter what. She was 91, used a walker, and lived alone after her husband passed. And yet, she was always the one bringing homemade cookies and asking others how they were doing. When I once asked her how she stayed so cheerful, she said, "Honey, I wake up every morning and ask myself, what's one good thing I can look forward to today? Then I find it. Even if it's just a hot cup of tea. Simple, but powerful. Optimism isn't about denying the hard stuff. It's about not letting the hard stuff steal the joy from your day. When you look for the positive, even in small things, you change the way your brain works. You lower your stress, sleep better, and even boost your immune system. It's like sunlight for your spirit. And the best part? You don't have to be naturally optimistic to start. Betty White may have been born a positive person, but many others, like Clara, learned to become one by practicing, by choosing, by asking simple questions like, what made me smile today? What am I grateful for, even if it's small? Who can I share a kind word with? One man I worked with, George, kept a tiny notebook next to his bed. Every night, he'd write down one good thing from the day. Some days, it was something big, like a visit from his grandson. Other days, it was as small as the daffodils bloomed. But it helped. It trained his mind to look for joy, even on the hard days. And isn't that something we all need? Especially now, with so much going on in the world, staying positive is not just a nice idea. It's essential. Not only for your emotional well-being, but for your physical health too. People who carry a hopeful outlook tend to recover faster from illness, have lower blood pressure, and experience less depression. It's not magic. It's mindset. So today, I want to gently invite you to pause and ask yourself, what is one positive thing in your day today? It could be the sound of birds outside your window, a warm phone call from a friend, the comfort of a favorite blanket, even the quiet peace of this moment, right now. Let's hold on to those things. And I'd love to hear from you. What positive thing did you notice today? It doesn't have to be big. In fact, the smaller and simpler, the better. Share it in the comments below, because sometimes your little joy might be the light someone else needs to see today. Betty White believed in finding the bright side. And she was onto something. So let's follow her lead. Let's look for the good, speak kindly, smile more often, and remind ourselves that even in the hardest seasons, hope is never far away. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do for your health is simply to believe that tomorrow will be a little bit better than today. 4. Keep your mind and body active. One of the most common things I hear as people grow older is this: I just don't feel like myself anymore. And when I ask a little deeper, I often find that they've stopped doing the little things that used to keep them feeling sharp, curious, and connected. Now let me tell you something Betty White understood better than most. Staying active doesn't always mean running marathons or lifting weights at the gym. For her, it meant keeping both her mind and body gently moving every single day. She loved crossword puzzles. She watched Jeopardy like clockwork. And she gave her time to causes she believed in. These may sound like small things, but they added up to something big, a life full of purpose, engagement, and joy. I once worked with a man named Henry, 87 years old, who used to be an accountant. After retiring, he found himself sitting on the same chair, staring at the same TV, day after day. His daughter brought him to one of our memory wellness workshops. At first, he barely spoke. But then we handed him a Sudoku puzzle. Something clicked. Within weeks, he was leading our little game circle, laughing, making friends, and most importantly, feeling alive again. It doesn't matter how old you are. Your brain loves to be used. So does your body. They both need activity like plants need sunlight. And that activity can look different for everyone. For some people, it's solving puzzles or reading books. For others, it's gardening, knitting, or even watching a favorite quiz show that makes them think. Movement can be as simple as stretching in the morning, walking to the mailbox, or dancing in the kitchen to a song that brings back memories. The key is this: don't let your days become too still. When we stop moving, physically or mentally, things start to shut down. Muscles weaken, memory fades, and even our mood can start to sink. But when we stay engaged, everything feels more alive. Even our sense of humor gets sharper. And here's the secret many forget: it's never too late to start. Betty White didn't slow down in her 70s or 80s. She stayed active well into her 90s. Why? Because she genuinely enjoyed the little routine she built for herself. It wasn't about doing enough. It was about doing what she loved, and doing it often. So I want to ask you, what do you enjoy doing? What lights up your mind, even just a little? Maybe it's doing a jigsaw puzzle with your grandchild. Maybe it's calling a friend to chat about the news. Maybe it's writing a letter, folding laundry while humming an old tune, or trying a new recipe just for fun. These things may seem ordinary, but they can be powerful medicine for the mind and heart. You don't need a fancy plan. You just need to keep choosing to engage with your world, with your thoughts, and with people who bring you joy. And if you've fallen into a quiet season lately, that's okay. Start small. Pick one activity that makes you feel just a little more present, a little more like yourself. It could be as simple as turning off the TV for 10 minutes to stretch your legs or look through old photo albums. Those little things matter. Now I'd love to hear from you. What activity helps you keep your mind sharp? What makes you feel more awake, more connected, more alive? Share it with me in the comments. Let's learn from each other, because staying active is easier and more fun when we do it together. Just like Betty, you have so much light inside you. Keep moving. Keep laughing. Keep doing the things that make you feel alive. Your mind and body will thank you for it. We've just explored some of Betty White's favorite secrets to a long, joyful life: saying no to food she didn't like, enjoying her favorite treats in moderation, staying positive, and keeping both her mind and body active. But here's the most important thing to remember: living a long life isn't just about what you eat or how often you exercise. It's about how you see the world, how you find joy in little moments, and how you keep your spirit alive every single day. So if this video touched your heart or gave you something to think about, I hope you'll take a moment to hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. You never know who might need a little reminder that growing older can be beautiful, fulfilling, and full of light. Let's keep spreading these gentle, powerful lessons together. What was your favorite takeaway from Betty's story? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below.